And Elohim spoke to Moses and said to him, I am the name. And I appear to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as El Shaddai, but in my name, the name, I was not known to them. And I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their sojourning, in which they sojourned. And also I myself have heard the groaning of the Israelites, whom the Egyptians enslave, and I do remember my covenant. Therefore say to the Israelites, I am the name. I will take you out from under the burdens of Egypt, and I will rescue you from their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great retributions. And I will take you to me as a people, and I will be your God, and you shall know that I am the name, your God, who takes you out from under the burdens of Egypt. And I will bring you to the land that I raised my hand and pledged to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, and I will give it to you as an inheritance. I am the name. And Moses spoke thus to the Israelites, but they did not heed Moses out of shortness of breath and hard bondage. And the name spoke to Moses, saying, Come, speak to Pharaoh king of Egypt, that he send off the Israelites from his land. And Moses spoke before the name, saying, Look, the Israelites did not heed me, and how will Pharaoh heed me? And I am uncircumcised of lips. And the name spoke to Moses and to Aaron, and it charged them regarding the Israelites and regarding Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring out the Israelites from the land of Egypt. These are the heads of their fathers' houses, the son of Reuben, Israel's firstborn, Enoch and Palu, Hezron and Carmi. These are the clans of Reuben. And the sons of Simeon, Jemuel and Jamin, and Ohad and Jachin, and Zohar and Saul, son of the Canaanite woman. These are the clans of Simeon. And these are the names of the sons of Levi according to their lineage, Gershon and Kohath and Merari. And the years of the life of Levi were 137 years. The sons of Gershon, Libni and Shimi, according to their clans, and the sons of Kohath, Amram and Izhar and Hebron and Uzziel. And the years of the life of Kohath were 133 years. And the sons of Merari, Mahali, and Mushi. These are the clans of the Levites according to their lineage. And Amram took him a wife, Jochebed, his aunt, and she bore him Aaron and Moses. And the years of the life of Amram were 137 years. And the sons of Izhar, Korah, and Nepheg, and Zitri, and the sons of Uzziel, Mishiel, and Elzapham, and Sitri. And Aaron took him Elisheba, daughter of Amminadab, sister of Nahshon, as wife, and she bore him Nadab and Abihu, Eleazar and Ithamar. The sons of Korah, Asir and Elkanah and Abisapha. These are the clans of the Korahites. And Eleazar, son of Aaron, had taken him a wife from the daughter of Putiel, and she bore him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers of the Levites according to their clan. It was that very Aaron and Moses to whom the name said, Bring out the Israelites from the land of Egypt in their battalions. It was they who were speaking to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring out the Israelites from Egypt, the very Moses and Aaron. And it happened on the day the name spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, that the name spoke to Moses, saying, I am the name. Speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that I speak to you. And Moses said before the name, Look, I am uncircumcised of lips, and how will Pharaoh heed me? And the name said to Moses, See, I have set you as a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother will be your prophet. You it is who will speak all that I charge you, and Aaron your brother will speak to Pharaoh, and he will send off the Israelites from his land. And I, on my part, shall harden Pharaoh's heart, that I may multiply my signs and my portents in the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh will not heed you, and I shall set my hand against Egypt, and I shall bring out my battalions, my people the Israelites, from the land of Egypt with great retributions, that the Egyptians may know that I am the name, when I stretch out my hand over Egypt, and I bring out the Israelites from their midst. And Moses and Aaron with him did as the name had charged, thus did they do. And Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron was 83 years old, when they spoke to Pharaoh. And the name said to Moses and to Aaron, saying, Should Pharaoh speak to you, saying, Give you a portent, you shall say to Aaron, Take your staff and fling it down before Pharaoh, let it become a serpent. And Moses and Aaron with him came to Pharaoh, and they did as the name had charged. And Aaron flung down his staff before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. And Pharaoh, too, called for the sages and sorcerers, and they, too, the soothsayers of Egypt, did thus with their spells. And each flung down his staff, and they became serpents. And Aaron's staff swallowed their staffs. And Pharaoh's heart toughened, and he did not heed them, just as the name had spoken. And the name said to Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hard. He refuses to send off the people. Go to Pharaoh in the morning. Look, he will be going out to the water, and you shall be poised to meet him on the bank of the Nile. And the staff that turned into a snake you shall take in your hand, and you shall say to him, The name, God of the Hebrews, sent me to you, saying, Send off my people, that they may worship me in the wilderness, and look, you have not heeded as yet. Thus said the name, By this shall you know that I am the name. Look, I am about to strike with the staff in my hand on the water that is in the Nile, and it will turn into blood. And the fish that are in the Nile will die, and the Nile will stink, and the Egyptians will not be able to drink water from the Nile. And the name said to Moses, Say to Aaron, Take your staff, and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, and over their Nile channels, and over their ponds, and over all their gathering of their waters, that they become blood. And there shall be blood in all the land of Egypt, and in the trees and in the stones. And Moses and Aaron did thus as the name had charged. And he raised the staff and struck the water that was in the Nile before the eyes of Pharaoh and the eyes of his servants, and all the water that was in the Nile turned to blood, and the fish that were in the Nile died, and the Nile stunk, and the Egyptians could not drink water from the Nile. and the blood was in all the land of Egypt. And the soothsayers of Egypt did thus with their spells, and Pharaoh's heart toughened, and he did not heed them, just as the name had spoken. And Pharaoh turned and came into his house, and this too he did not take to heart. And all of Egypt dug round the Nile for water to drink, for they could not drink the water of the Nile. And 7 full days passed after the name struck the Nile, and the name said to Moses, Come to Pharaoh, and you shall say to him, Thus said the name, Send off my people, that they may worship me. And if you refuse to send them off, look, I am about to scourge all your region with frogs, and the Nile will swarm with frogs, and they will come up and come into your house, and into your bedchamber, and onto your couch, and into your servant's house, and upon your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading pans, and upon you, and upon your people, and upon all your slaves, the frogs will come up